What are the top 5 missing loadouts for aircraft in War Thunder? Hello guys, once again it's Matt. Thank you all the members and patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So today I wanted to talk about 5 payloads that I think should be added to the game at some point at least, right? So let's get into it. The first one, it's kind of a minor one, but I always talk about this missile, or I used to talk about this missile. Just by the way, just a small disclaimer, I'm not gonna include like R-73s for certain aircraft or AIM-9Ms for certain aircraft or even Fox 3s because obviously those are coming. So we're talking about stuff that isn't really confirmed to come. So the first one, R-55 for early Soviet aircraft. Okay, so the R-55 is late 60s, mid to late 60s development of an IR missile. You know, it's basically the predecessor to the R-60. It wasn't as successful as the R-60, but it was indeed used by many aircraft, especially attacker aircraft, but even like MiG-21s and stuff. And yes, all the other nations have AIM-9Ds and Gs, which, I mean, the Ds especially and Es are from the same time frame as the R-55, so why not add the R-55? And I'm not even talking about improving aircraft that use the R3S. It's more on the sense of helping aircraft on the grind itself, you know. So the only real aircraft that would benefit from this, since it doesn't use any other missile, would be the MiG-21 PFM, which is, or even the MiG-21S, you know. But it isn't like a big deal because those aircraft, you don't see them as much. And it's not like a, oh my god, amazing G, like aircraft, missile, etc., right? It's like a, if I'm not mistaken, 18G missile with kind of a short range. It's alright, you know, it's similar to something like the AIM-9D with less range probably. And, but the thing is that, think about something like a MiG-21 MF, for example. That aircraft can actually suffer a little bit from having to use something like the R3S, right, or even the SMT, right? So why have the R3S if you can have the R-55, right? And even to some other aircraft, even the MiG-21Bs, for example, has to use the R3S. Is sometimes, you know, although they added the R-60M now as a stock missile, you know, you still have to research the R3S, so it would be a small little missile here and there that would help some of these aircraft. The Su-17 maybe, the Su-24 when it's added, stuff like that, to actually be able to grind a little bit better, right? That would be the idea of the R-55. The second one is JDAMs. Of course, the JDAMs are normally GPS guided ammunition, right? They're not in its early like iterations, it doesn't like really track moving targets. Later models actually do that, but at least the early models, it would be basically just a non-guided bomb with a very precise hitting point, right? So in the sense that it would be a guided bomb obviously, but it wouldn't like track a target, you know. So at least it could be added like that or something to not be that OP. But yeah, a lot of nations could use these bombs, and I mean, honestly, we have a lot of aircraft that could actually take these bombs, so I honestly don't know why we don't have JDAMs yet. They even, like, kinda thought about adding it at some point for the EJ Kai and then forgot about it, so I don't know. But still, it is a bomb that I think should be added. The next one, the third one, is the EXOS, Harpoon, and even other anti-ship missiles. Although they are not the most useful in the game right now, we already have the AS-34 Komoran, right, from the Tornado, from the Marineflieger, but the EXOS could actually be added to the Superetendard, the Harpoon to the A6, and some others can have some here and there missiles that would be anti-ship. Again, it's not the most useful thing ever, but I mean, they already added for the Marineflieger. Why not add it for the other aircraft that could actually take these missiles? It kind of brings something different to the table, even if you're not going to use it in normal battles. I know that sim players would actually use this type of thing to actually do some cool maneuvers, or some cool missions, right? So I think it should be added no matter what. The fourth one, cluster bombs. Of course, cluster bombs. We already have the napalm bomb, so Clusters are just the next step on the war crime kind of situation there, but we already have napalm, so that's not even a thing. The only problem with cluster bombs, if you don't know, cluster bombs are basically a whole bomb that divides itself in many smaller ones, like a P-tab, but more of that, you know. And they are able to penetrate tanks. They are able to cover whole areas of destruction. You know, it's a very good type of bomb, especially for lightly armored vehicles. But you know, even some heavy tanks, because it's so thin, the armor plating up top of the tank, it can actually penetrate. The only problem with it is that it might draw a little bit of power from the GPUs of everybody, you know, because it's a lot of projectiles in a game. So that's probably why they didn't add it yet, but at some point they need to come up with a solution for this to actually have a properly functioning cluster bomb. You know, it's part of the warfare environment, right? And the last one, I think it's one that everybody talks about, of course, from time to time, and even Gaijin kind of deny that they are coming right now, but they are working on to maybe adding them in the future. Anti-radiation missiles, guys. These are missiles made to hit anti-air systems. I know, Gaijin already said that these missiles, especially in the early variants of them for each country, are missiles that are not really precise and don't do a lot of damage, but does it matter really? It's a weapon system to actually be able to try to kill AA systems. So yeah, it can be good, it can be bad. That would be kind of a balancing thing that they would need to actually think about it. But at least to kill the Panzer or the ADATs or the most, like the best AA systems out there, we should have something in the top ranks, of course. Remember, it needs to be balanced, because if it's not balanced, it might create a new reign of cast just destroying whole teams again, which is not something you want. So yeah, you notice how a lot of these are for air to ground, right? So they need to be well thought about it, because of course we don't need more cast overpowerness, right? So it's something that they need to consider before adding these stuff. But still, doesn't matter what happens, I still think and I still believe that these 5 weapon systems need to be added to the game, and should have been added together with other systems or a long time ago, or even some in the very few recent updates, right? So yeah. But anyway, basically this is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what is your favorite weapon that it's not in the game that you would like to see added. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye.